the scene, everything you didn't know about the music business. I am Gunz, joined by, of course, Sully and Dicky Barrett from the Mighty Mighty Bosstones, and...
I just told you the name.
Tell us again.
The Defiant!
The Defiant coming at you.
I'm not going to tell you the name again. Just before we came out of that break, you asked me the name of the band that I put together with some other...
no, big guy. Listen,
really good
some
musicians.
Great names of this.
Yeah.
Who's in the band? You've got
like-minded musicians and very talented, more talented than myself.
Really?
I lower the curve
I
when it comes to thank you for saying that.
Well, listen, you are a legend in yourself, and this is a great setup for
on the drums, is Pete Parada.
Okay.
Played for years with the Offspring.
Yes.
Right. Guitar?
Guitar is Greg Camp.
Smash Mouth.
From Smash Mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Wrote all those huge Smash Mouth hits. There's a guy named Joey LaRocca who plays guitar, and he was in a band called the Briggs.
Yep.
Johnny Rio plays the bass, and he's with the Street Dogs out of Boston. So it's a bit of a 90s supergroup.
Yeah.
And I'm going to write it down. Give me your magic marker.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Write it down for you. The Defiant.
Love it. Love it. And it's got a great sound. Of course, you can go listen to it across all streaming services right now. Follow them across all the social media and beyond. And the reason I bring this up, though, is because obviously, Dicky Barrett, you've been involved in the music industry for decades now. You've seen it all. You've seen it all. No, you've seen it all.
Outskirts.
And we bring this up because we have a segment here.
Wait, can I just say this on the outskirt part?
Yeah.
We did an album with Blue Elan Records as an homage to 60s and 70s deep track blues.
Okay.
Nice.
And we somehow, our manager at the time somehow finagled us in, so we got charted number 3 on Billboard on some obscure freaking thing like best blues band south of the 5 freeway.
Yeah.
And we charted number 3 above Joe Bonamassa and Eric Clapton. And that thing's about the size of a poster in my house. This guy in the legitimate world, Billboard #1 hit, impression that I get. No, seriously.
Yeah.
I had to figure out a way
Yes.
just so I could say the word Billboard next to my name at some point.
Where were you when you found out you went #1, or found out that where was the first time you heard that song on the radio?
Probably on the road, because at that time that's what you did. You made a record and then just got out there, and I toured and toured and toured.
Didn't you have just a big trailer full of suits for you guys?
There was half the trailer. We had a bus, and then we were towing one of those larger sized trailers behind us, but half of it was suits for the band, and it started to really smell back there.
Talk about bus life. People see these big tour buses.
Yeah.
And I don't think people...
Oh, it's so great. It's so...
It seems like such a cool thing being a music fan.
I had 12 guys on that bus.
So what does bus life look like?
12 guys into your apartment.
Are y'all sleeping there?
Well, yeah, sort of.
Eating there? So what is
like this, in a coffin-shaped, moving down the highway, like this.
And so you're
from sleep basically anywhere. If you're not sleeping there, you're sleeping in an airport against your.
Is that because it's less expensive for a tour if you're going from city to city to ride a bus than to get everybody on a plane to go? Was that the idea behind buses? Because even some of the biggest, you see big tour buses with huge.
It's expensive. The buses are expensive, and touring that way is expensive. But it's sort of mandatory, and it's sort of if you're going to get any sleep at all, and it's all about the show. You're traveling to the next city. Someone's already there setting up your gear, and you get into town, and wait till you go on stage.
What was one of the rules? Some people are like, all right, take your shoes off when you get into a house. Did you have were there any rules?
No sit-downs in the toilet.
Yeah, no.
You have to wait for the next stop?
You got to wait for the truck stop.
Yeah. No number 2s. Yeah.
Okay.
James and Brian both went on tour. James, of course, with everyone from Eric Clapton to Little Chris and the Nightcrawlers at the Mira Mesa Bowl, and then Brian Jordan with Lauryn Hill and Dave Matthews. I think he even played with.
These are big names. Why aren't they on the show?
James.
Why am I here?
But I've heard these guys talk before. You got 24 hours in a day.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got, let's say, a 2.5 hour, 3 hours for the show. Okay. So you got 21 hours left. 8 hours of sleep. There's 11 hours done.
Yeah.
You got another 14 hours a day to kill, minus 2 hours for 1 hour for a sound check.
You walk around the city. You miss your family. You know. Am I wrong? I mean, but it's all sort of about the show. That's really.
I mean, because that's why I say
where your head is at.
Everyone who wants to be in the music business you got to really think about what it's like, because I'm telling you, and at this late age, getting involved where I get to play in front of big crowds, in front of small crowds, and everything else, all the action's happening where you're at. Whether you're this way, playing this way, or clapping this way, because everything else behind the scenes feels like you're working at a luggage claim at an airport.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And you can be sometimes with like 11 other people, and you all have to like that's wild. You know what I mean? Like you're like it's like, oh, it's all glitz and glam, but it's like, think about all those hours that you're not on stage. It's just like, oh crap.
That's why kind of touring with the Boss Tones the way we used to tour, it was fun because you had 11 of your best friends out on the road with you. So that I wouldn't trade it. When you're doing it, when you're in the guy, anything I say that sounds like bullshit, you guys can just yell out bullshit. But am I lying? Is it true? I mean that's and you miss your family, like I said. You miss weird things, and you're like, oh, I miss my car.
As you're on the bus,
You missed your what? What was that word?
I'm from Boston. Give me a break.
Are you? Oh, I
got
didn't know. I
a
couldn't
bit
tell.
of an impediment.
I couldn't tell.
I miss my car.
is there when you go on these tours, is it a crapshoot knowing what you're going to go up there against in terms of what the sound's going to be like or what you're going to be like?
Sort of get into it's a routine, and if you've got a good crew and you've got good sound engineers and good front of house.
Because you're laying your template on wherever you're at, everywhere
Yeah.
you go, right?
Yeah.
That's what they do.
You sort of do it, and once again, as times change, there was when we used to tour, it was complete autopilot where I would be saying the same thing every night, which you really can't do so much anymore with people with the
Because
filming
it's
you
going
on
to
the
get
phone.
posted.
They'll call you out on it. Yeah.
You said that last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw it on Instagram.
Yeah.
So you kind of
Now, did you thrive more at those?
you can say the wrong city.
Oh
Exactly.
yeah. Oh, you'll be done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you thrive more? Like, did you enjoy more of those like 300 type, 500 type shows, or like those kind of shows, or did you enjoy like the massive music festivals?
Festivals?
Yeah.
It's apples and oranges. I mean, I love the intimate small venues. I like playing like that, but then it's pretty thrilling to get up in front of a huge European festival and
100,000 people all just going nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
yelling they love you in languages you don't understand.
that's not what they were yelling at.
That's not?
That's not, they were yelling something
telling
else.
you no?
It was a different language.
They're yelling something.
The one finger right here means the same
That's-
universally, all right?
Really?
We played in front of some big crowds, and I will tell you, I remember playing at the bar here in San Diego where we were the band for a long time called the Kraken. And it was a capacity of 150, and we would draw like 300, and it was the cops would come, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it was like that feeling like you see in a movie, the band, the house band, and it was like our song "Raise a Glass." It felt like that, right?
Yeah.
Then you go to these big things, and it's thrilling to look out there, but for me it's way disconnecting, because you really can only see.
Yeah.
Honestly, in your line of sight this much. So what is that? 30 feet out,
Right.
And everything else is just a blur anyway. So I always found it kind of disconnecting until you get the one guy, pounding on the fence or whatever that's engaging you, try to pick somebody else to engage to it. For me, I think the bigger ones, a little more nerve-wracking, but less intimate, or not intimate, less of a performance, more of just a machine thing. And I think that's because I just haven't been used to it.
True, but like I said, it's a just different sort of feeling. It's not, there's nothing better than an intimate room. You play,
What's the craziest thing that's ever happened on stage in a big? Is there one thing that happened like you're on stage in front of a big crowd and just went like? Some guy threw his boxer shorts at you.
Some guy.
Oh, that wasn't at a show. Sorry.
I was just walking
Can I
down
have
the
those
street.
back, by the way? Can I please have those back? I really like those.
I can remember playing in we played Lollapalooza in '94, and that was Hole was headlining, and all of that was crazy. Every single thing. It was shortly after Kurt Cobain passed away, and so Courtney Love's out on the road. So it was a complete traveling circus the whole time, and I would go in every day. I'll try to make this as quick as possible, to a trailer, because we were on our way to Japan after the Lollapalooza tour. And Courtney Love would be in there every day on her computer. And it was the first laptop computer I saw at the time, and she had it, and it was a mess. It was covered in makeup, and some of the keys were burnt from cigarettes. and she would be on it. And I don't even know, was there an internet? Was there, social? But she's on it every day. And it was me doing phone interviews in this one trailer, this media trailer, and I was doing interviews with Japan. And at the end of this interview, the guy I was talking to started going, thank you very much for being in the Mighty Mighty Bosstones. And I go, oh, thank you. And thank you very much for the great music you play. And, oh, thank you. And thank you for the tour that's coming up. And oh, thank you. And thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, and after about a minute and a half of that, Courtney reached over and hung up the phone on me. And she goes, who are you talking to, Japan? And I said, yeah. She said, it's worse when you get there.
Oh, hell yeah. That's great.
Behind the scenes, everything you didn't know about the music business. We'll see you in a sec.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the screen opens entries of articles, dishonestly honorable observations for mass production, mass consumption of fly school graduates ready for class instruction. Path I'm judging, got potholes and dips. Not supposed to quit while I got flows to spit. I reveal stars and
How about that? Give it up.
Trey, so darn hot.
Yes, y'all. You don't stop.
Absolutely love that. Welcome back, of course. This is Behind the Scene. And this is our segment called On the Stage. I'm Gunz, of course, from The Gunz Show, joined by the My Bosstones and the Defiant's very own Dicky Barrett and Sully himself. And this is On the Stage. We're very excited and honored to be joined by longtime Sum 41 drummer, also part of Electric Callboy, and the author of the upcoming new book, Unbreakable Rhythm, My Journey Through Music, Wellness, and Mental Strength. Frank Zummo is with us right now. Frankie, baby, live from the airport, I see.
Yeah. Greetings from Chicago, United Airport Lounge. I'm
Is
in
that
between,
Midway or O'Hare?
O'Hare, on my way to start the book tour tomorrow. So, yeah.
Very cool. Very cool, man. Well, listen, we appreciate you being a part of this. Of course, Dicky Barrett, you have a long time history with with Sum 41, correct?
Yes, I do. I took Sum 41 on their very first United States tour, way back, before Frank was in the band. But I've met Frank since, and Frank is, for those of you who don't know, is one hell of a dremmer. He really is. He's an elite drummer. He's as good as they get. And I saw you recently. It wasn't that long ago that I saw you on that Heaven and Hell tour, right?
Yeah, totally. We've bumped into each other a few times, and obviously some guys have shared so many amazing stories about you taking them under their wing when they were kids. And, as I said, I'm such a fan of yours for just everything that you fight for and believe in, man. It's awesome. We need more people like you in this world, for sure.
Oh, my God. Thank you so much, Frank. I didn't expect that, but thank you.
Hey, Frank.
You're welcome.
Can I quickly ask
No,
you?
you can't. You always ask me questions.
I'm
All right,
sorry.
go ahead and ask the question. You're the rock star.
Inquisitive.
Go ahead. You're the rock star.
Pardon me, Sully, but I'd like to ask you about the book. The title of the book is...
You stole my question.
Oh, sorry.
It's Unbreakable Rhythm, My Journey Through Music, Wellness, and Mental Strength.
The last two are the ones that interest me. The wellness. Now, what exactly are you referring to there?
So I've been doing workshops around the world for kids with School of Rock for years, and they've just organically turned into, just when we have the open question and answer, talking about being bullied, what kids are going through today online, at school, just the mental toll that it takes on these kids. And they're just talking to me about advice, and it's just organically grown into us partnering now with teen suicide prevention charities, because we've lost kids over just what kids go through now. It just continues to grow. And doing these events, I was just like, okay, there's a big world. Like, how could I take what happens in this workshop and have it accessible? And Jason Pettigrew from Alternative Press, who's written about me so many times in my career, came to one of these events, and he saw firsthand what was going on. And again, talking about wellness, us as artists, what we go through just to perform, treating yourself like an athlete, just the health aspect, what I do to be able to perform at this level and longevity and all that. So Jason was there, I saw the magic of it, and we literally started talking backstage after the show. He recorded that conversation. That was the introduction to this book. And 3 years later, it's out now, which is insane.
I think your use of the word athlete is a really good description of how it is you take to your job and play the drums. It is like watching a professional athlete when you play. It's a very, very rigorous and very, very strenuous show, and it's something that would kill a mere mortal like myself, but you're an absolute beast on the drums. The mental awareness, mental strength, is that something that you had to deal with personally yourself? Did you go
100%.
through any? Yeah?
Through just, being bullied for being a musician with long hair and Metallica shirts and wearing Doc Marten boots, which now is cool, but wasn't cool when I was coming up. So, I got gum thrown in my hair on the bus and jumped and, all that stuff. And I just, lived in my own world and just wanted to go home and play drums. And I didn't let it, defeat me in any way. But now, the bullying is just, these kids can't escape it. They go home and it's on social media. It's everywhere. So it's been just cool to just let them know, like, us artists, we go through the same stuff. I mean, even, us now in this part of our life and social media and everything we have to go through. And it's just like explaining them that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can't let that defeat you. It's about just the art and you being happy with what you're doing and just all those kind of real talks and conversations. Like, I didn't have that. I didn't have any of these people to go through. When I went to, they were called drum clinics when I was a kid, it was just a fireworks show of beats. And that person talked about beats and signed an autograph, and the cool thing that I'm doing with these kids is we're actually jamming together. Like, I'm playing a full Sum 41 set with these kids, which is so amazing that they get to do that and play with me, the artist, like just doing things that I didn't have coming up. And it's gone so well that I felt like it was just really cool to put this in a book, like I said, to get the message out and then just talk about, all of the struggles that every project, just even getting us into Sum 41, that whole story, like just cool stories and overcoming things and never giving up. And just all those stories that we really don't hear about because everybody, of course, just puts your greatest highlights on social media and people just think like it's that easy, but it's not. So
Frank, you're doing congratulations on this book and thank you for this book. And you're absolutely doing God's work. I've been proud of Sum 41 since the day I met them. I like the way they work. I like the way they think. I like the people they are. They're great. And you could say that better than I could. And my co-hosts have questions for you, but I just wanted to say that I'm super proud of you guys and what it is you're doing right now. And please keep up the good work.
Thanks so much, man. Appreciate
Frank,
it.
Sully here. It's interesting in looking through, researching and you talk about suicidal ideation among teens and so on and so forth. It's rampant in this country. And you look at some of the names that are mentioned in the Unbreakable Rhythm, specifically Laird Hamilton and Gabby Reese, who've taken on suicidal ideation teens before. Talk about your relationship with them and how what that's meant to you and that piece of the book specifically.
Yeah, I've known them for about 10 years, and they changed my life with just like wellness and breath work. All the stuff that obviously we breathe to survive, but when you really understand about breath work, how I use it to go to bed at night, I use it to get amped for a show instead of drinking caffeine, what an ice bath is, working out with weights in the pool and supplements. I mean, they changed my whole world and introduced me to all these amazing coaches and sports therapists and people that I've worked extensively with, and they're just like family. So they're absolutely incredible, and they've supported me, in COVID when I was going to the School of Rock schools to do events for kids because they had nothing. Kids were stripped of sports and graduations, and they have a wellness company. And they supported me going on the road to give these kids this experience and stuff. So Laird and Gabby are just superhumans. They're the best.
Don't get me started on COVID. You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Gunz has a question, and I think that Gunz, you should know this. he eats like a 4-year-old. He won't eat a vegetable.
I don't like the color green too much when it comes to my food. So yeah, bacon cheeseburgers all day.
He likes fried food. He eats a lot of fried food.
Hey,
and the more processed, the better when it comes to Gunz.
Works out, absolutely. Well, listen, something that is not processed, of course, is Frank Zummo when it comes to the drum set and on the drums. And I know we had spoken kind of when it was coming towards the end of Sum 41, and I just want to bring up that era once again and just also kind of get an update for all the fans out there that are listening or in attendance and whatnot is what Sum 41 did, Frank, I truly, obviously it's bittersweet and sad, as a longtime fan of you guys, seeing it come to an end. But what you did was you announced a world tour and hit up as many countries as you could, as many states as you could, and gave fans that last opportunity to really just go nuts and embrace a band that, was so formulated to them. So talk to me about kind of that run, because rather than fizzle out, Sum 41 got to go out at the height, man. You had a #1 single on rock radio with Landmines. You had an incredible double disc album that you released. I mean, you had sold out shows all across the globe. Talk to me about how important it was to go out like that, but also like, damn, man, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I deep dive obviously in the book on this because it was all happening, when I was writing the book. But yeah, I mean, when I joined the band, it wasn't really a band. Derek had, gone in the hospital from, drinking, and it wasn't a band, and I got in the band. It's slowly over, some time started building back up. And when I joined the band and we started playing, we were playing clubs, we had to rebuild from the ground and prove ourselves and all of this stuff, which was such a great, challenge. And literally in a decade, it turned into this insane finale where, I was obviously devastated when Derek said the band was ending. I was at a workshop and got the news when I got off stage, and it was like from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows. And, but we went out, and this last cycle and everything that we could have dreamt of, we would have never thought this would have happened. Like you said, to have, the biggest success in the band's history. It beat all the records of Fat Lip and Into Deep, Heyday stuff, like 2 #1 hits on this record, sold out arenas, like I said, stadium. We did 42,000 in Paris, got inducted into the Canadian Hall of Fame. Like, it was insane. And the cool thing was we had a year and a half to enjoy this. So I just said, okay, we've got the next leg to look forward to. I'm not going to worry about the future. I'm going to live in the moment. And then finally, when the end came and it was like Canada and there was nothing left, I really got, anxiety and fear. Everything really kicked in. And at literally the morning of our final performance to get inducted into the Hall of Fame and play the Junos, Electric Callboy called me, because at this exact time last year in Australia, we went there with Sum 41 to headline all the festivals and arenas. And on the first day, we had to cancel the whole thing. Derek was diagnosed with a pneumonia. So we went all the way to Australia, shut the whole thing down. I was still there doing workshops and whatnot, and Electric Callboy took our spot. Their drummer had to go home on the day of the show. I learned their show in 5 hours, filled in. It somehow miraculously worked out. And then they called me to be their drummer. So wow. I've been in the band now for a year. I just got home. We did 6 weeks in Europe, sold out arenas. So it's just, wow. It's been a ride, and I'm so blessed and lucky to be, because I was, am I ever going to play arenas again? Like, It's so hard to get into another band at this level. And
you're going to have no problem finding work, Frank.
Yeah.
You're going to be you're sought after.
Real quick, Frank, what was the difference between learning the Electric Callboy set and then filling in for Tommy Lee and having to learn the Motley Crue set? And what were those band practices like, or how that came about? Because you played with Motley Crue, bro.
That was another same thing, high pressure, get on a plane, come and fill in. But see, Motley Crue, that was my childhood. I played to those records my entire life. I knew those songs, so it was like very, very easy. Electric Callboy, it's like I was familiar with their music and I played it like you just said, but I didn't know them and know an hour of material. And it's insane, like metalcore and then techno, so it was a completely different beast. And it was really cool to kick in that, mechanism, like, can I do this? Can I deliver? Right. Like all of that stuff. And it miraculously, worked out and secured me a new gig, which is so amazing.
The rest is history, as they say. Frank Zummo, man, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for being a part of Behind the Scene. Of course, the new book, Unbreakable Rhythm, My Journey Through Music, Wellness, and Mental Strength. Make sure to follow him across social media. Appreciate you always, man. You're doing some very important and great stuff. I am Gunz. This is Behind the Scene with Dicky Barrett from Mighty Mighty Boss Tones and Sully, right here from the Loft 100 Studios in San Diego, baby. Woo!